Like half a marathon, I'll give you the gospel of St. John. It's been like a wake up call, cause we both know that his mercy flows in the morning. Wake up to a brand new day. Okay, thank you so much for joining us here on It's a Good Morning on JoCo Community Radio. I'm your host, Tonya Johnson, and hang on, I still gotta figure out my little buttons over here. Please forgive me. There we go. No, that's not it. Nope, that's not it either. Hang on. Give me a second. What kind of background we want today? Should we do that? No. Yeah. Here we go. I don't even know. So please forgive me. I'm trying to work on all that. Here we're going to do this one. Here we go.
Oh, cute.
Trick or treat. Boo.
Happy Halloween.
Yay. So I am joined in the studio this morning with Shelby Stone. Good morning, Shelby.
Good morning. How's it going?
I'm good. Thank you for trekking all the way down here in all the rain this morning.
It really wasn't too bad. Everyone panics. I'm like, you can keep driving. You're good. You're good.
You're good. Just slow down a little bit, but don't stop.
Yes.
Please don't stop.
Oh my gosh. And especially not in the fast lane.
Yeah.
Don't make me get into this again.
You know, it's so funny. I was thinking about you. I guess it was over the weekend. I was on the toll road. No, maybe it was Monday. I was headed to Fort Worth, and literally at one point we were probably going around 65-ish, right? And then, you know, the slow car in front moves over, which is great. And then we're getting it. Like, we're booking, right? Probably pushing 75.
Oh yeah.
You know,
that's
which
the minimum.
Is great.
The minimum on the express lane.
And then you've got, you know, I've got two cars in front of me, and the next thing I know, when it's down to one lane, brakes and more like I mean, just
everyone's having to like pull onto the shoulder to make sure no one hits each other,
because apparently there's a work convoy
on
a one lane road where you have the concrete bricks on one side and nowhere to go on the other side. And I am like, are you kidding?
And there's nothing worse, because then you just kind of like settle in.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So I thought to myself, okay, if it was safe, I would literally take a picture right now and send this to Shelby, because it was literally, we slowed down to 40 miles an hour. I'm not kidding you. I was like, now luckily I wasn't in any hurry, but still I was like, are you kidding me? Again, I'm paying $9.
Yes, yeah.
$9
My favorite
to go
thing to do
slow.
is, if I am in a hurry, like, I cannot tell you how many times when I worked at NRS, because I had like an 8 a.m. in Arlington, and then I'd have to be at work at 10,
right,
back in Decatur. And so when things like that would happen, I would literally just take a picture of like the road with like my thumbs up with all the brake lights and send them, on my way, but we're obviously stopped.
Right.
And so my manager would send, and he's like a 50-year-old man. Like, he's not, it's not like I would be like texting you and you just like, haha, the message or something.
Right.
He would send like a thumbs up, like from his desk going, all right, be safe. See you when you get here. I'm like,
my goodness.
and it always followed with, please don't fire me. I'm on my way. Like, that, I can't tell you how many times I have texted a boss that, hi, sorry for being high maintenance, please don't fire me. Yes, this is what's going on.
Yes. Well, and that's when the beauty of working for yourself and doing your own thing is good. I'm just going to give that mic
thank you. Yes,
a little closer to you, so you're not having to.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's actually very refreshing, because like, if I'm not
good at people micromanaging me.
Oh no. Well, and plus, I think that's just kind of how probably you and I were both raised, is you're expected to do a job, get it done. I shouldn't have to sit over your shoulder and tell you how to do it.
Exactly.
So on the flip side, you don't have to sit over my shoulder and tell me how to do it.
Yes. And if I'm 100% commission, and I worked until 8:00 the night before, you don't get to get mad that I came in 3 minutes late.
Girl.
So sorry. Girl. Sorry for your anyway.
I hear that.
I said that on the show the other day too, and I got in trouble. Sorry for your bad luck. I need to probably watch that phrase. Anyway. All right. So Shelby is in the studio this morning, not going to play music because her guitar is in the shop.
Yes.
So we're just going to talk about some fun stuff, some things she's got going on, some exciting things, and some places for you to catch Shelby. She's got a lot of live musical events coming up. So we definitely want to definitely want to talk about that. And I have to say, I was pretty bummed. I wanted you to come and sing at the launch party, and
Yeah.
you're busy with the. That's why you
Yes.
couldn't. We were talking about that event on the 7th, and you're like, I'm already booked for that day.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's talk about real quick, though. I want to let you guys know today's show is typically Wellness Wednesday, but because I had like a brain lapse about a month ago and requested for Shelby to come on, and she scheduled this, we went ahead and did that. But shout out for Hot Works here in Burleson. If you have not been over there, they're in the parking in the same vicinity with Roscoe's and CVS. So go check them out. They've got Hot Works, Hot Pilates, and all kinds of good stuff. This morning was my second morning in a row.
Nice.
To go.
Building
yes.
good habits.
Yes.
I've got so many friends that love Hot Works.
Yeah.
I just, the whole like waking up early kind of thing and then sweating. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do have to say the heat hit me kind of hard this morning because it was chilly out.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
You know, and then so I walked and I was like, oh. And then like 5 minutes in, I was like, oh,
Lovely.
yeah.
Lovely.
It's like water. So no, but yesterday when I left, I was putting my makeup on. I was like, dang, my skin looks good.
Yeah, I'd say that's a big part because I have friends that like they'll be talking, they're like, oh, my skin's so bad, like I need to go like sweat it out, and so they all go to Hot Works.
It's there's no joke. It was really cool. I was like, oh, wow.
And then I got my friends that I don't know necessarily that they can't afford Hot Works, so there's one just not close enough because I never heard that it's like outrageously expensive, but I just don't think they have one close.
Right.
They'll do like cardio in the sauna. I'm like, I'm sure that's probably the same.
It's not. It's kind of scary because the sauna, it's an infrared sauna. So it's not like a heat. I mean, it's heat, but it's an internal heat sauna.
Okay, see, yeah, I've always
so it's different.
I've always thought that was a questionable decision that they were making.
Yes,
good to know.
Yes. Relay the message, and they probably should talk to someone before doing that.
Yeah,
probably would be better to go outside.
Yeah.
And do that. It's definitely not the same. And my son, my older son, when I was telling him, I'm like, oh my God, you need to go with me. Like, I was doing Pilates and it was like 125 degrees. Yeah. And he goes, Mom, I'm pretty sure that's not healthy. But again, it's different. Yeah, it's an infrared. Yeah, it's a different type of heat, and it's good for you and good for your body.
And I'm sure not a single one of those instructors lets you get away without a water break.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, the cool thing is it's 3-dimensional. So you're watching on the screen.
Gotcha.
You have complete access to the door. At the max, there's 3 people in your room, like at max. So one of my girlfriends goes, and I'm not going to say who. Some people may already know who, but she literally, after a weekend bender, she'll go on Monday.
That's genius.
Literally to lay on her mat. She'll find one that there's nobody in at that particular time. She will lay on her mat for 45 minutes in the sauna to sweat it out. And she's like, I don't feel like working out, but I'm going to get the internal effects of it all.
And then plus still, you're getting up early. You're still out the door. It's not like you're wallowing around in bed. Exactly. So that's good habits.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. Okay. So back to you and what you got going on. So I'm not sure if you can share the exciting news that you told me.
No, I can. It's very, very cool. So this past month, I have been in the studio and we are recording. We're recording a single, and we haven't decided whether or not we're going to put it out yet, just because it is a cover. It's the song House of the Rising Sun.
Okay.
Which, fun fact, if you actually look at the history of that song, no one owns the domain. It comes from like an old like folklore like Appalachia song, like a mountain song, pretty much. And so that's why every time you hear it, someone's changing up the lyrics, someone's changing up how they do it. Like the way Dolly Parton does it is a lot different than the way the Animals do it, which I don't know that I can talk about it, but I would definitely recommend listening to Dolly Parton's version of House of the Rising Sun. Has Fancy by Reba Vibes, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah.
It's so much fun. But we have flipped it, changed it, rearranged it. And I'm so excited. It's been the coolest thing ever because it's also through my school. Like my producer is also my assistant dean.
Okay.
But I mean, he works with like Patti LaBelle and he composes all the film music for The Young and Restless, which I don't know that show will ever end.
I agree with you.
I don't know that it ever will. But the thing is, though, there are people that are committed to the series, like Grey's Anatomy fans.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, okay, fair, I get it.
Well, and you would think that most of them are dying off, but they're not.
Yes,
because it's recreated. Like I remember growing up, my cousin's grandmother babysat us.
Yeah.
And that's what she watched.
And that's what my grandma, right? My great grandma still watches. Yes. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, word. That and The Price is Right. Like there is no in between.
Even though Bob Barker is gone. Yeah. Right, yeah. They just continue to make it happen. Yeah. So funny.
But he had actually, my producer had texted me this morning that we got live instruments on it, because when you build a single, you usually have to do the electric instruments first. Okay. And when I say electric, I mean MIDI. Like you can take a keyboard and you can make any instrument sound with a keyboard depending on the style of it. And then from there you go and you put on like live recorded electric guitar, drums, bass, whole 9 yards.
Right.
And I'm really, really excited because we're throwing steel guitar on this.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, we were stuck between fiddle and steel guitar, and I was able to find a steel guitar player. Okay. Yeah, first.
Yeah, because just a steel guitar doesn't do anything. You kind of have to have the player.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Just kidding. Sorry, that was kind of smart ass.
No, that's girl.
But it was
that's how we work. I know. That's how we work. And so I'm so excited just because it's been like in the connections that this man has. It's definitely a God thing that I've interacted with him. Just because like some of the FaceTimes I've been on and some of the like random verified people that are following me, I'm like, how do what? And I'll show him. He's like, oh yeah, that's like my childhood best friend. He plays for Kanye. I'm like, what? What?
Which is so cool.
It really, really is. And I could not be more grateful. And so like at this point in the game, we're just waiting on instruments. So I texted him the other day. I was like, what do you want from me? He was like, well, you need to get with this classmate because they are like one of the best songwriters that I've seen in a while. The classmate is one of my best friends. I got her a spooky basket on Monday.
Oh,
it is so much easier to write music with friends than strangers.
Did you know that she wrote music?
I did, but I didn't know that they had been interacting about like the music. Okay. And it's been, oh dude, my mom calls it walking in the blessing, not the miracle.
Yes.
When you kind of get on the right path that God has for you, it just like works. It is so cool. I'm like, oh, this is wonderful.
Yes.
But
it doesn't always, it doesn't happen overnight, but yeah, the blessings come and you definitely, as long as your eyes are open to it, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes that's the key.
Oh, 100%.
Like a lot of people, they just want, oh, I just got so lucky. No, you didn't.
Yeah. Well, and that was a whole conversation I was having. It was so cool. So if y'all, Alan Jackson and all his number ones, and then George Strait's song, I Hate Everything. So those were written by a gentleman named Keith Stegall. Okay. So I got to hang out with his wife yesterday at Market. Also, never been to Market. What in the world? There is no, that I got lost like 4 times.
It's like a shopping girl's dream, like fairyland.
My favorite was the home furnishing section. Like, anyway.
Well, you're at that stage.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I cannot.
I mean,
wait.
Because at some point, you weren't looking at that. You were in the jewelry and the
and boyfriend was with me, and so I was like, hey, you see those chairs there? Figure out how to make those because we ain't paying that price. But I know you can know how, because he used to make cabinets. Like that was his whole thing. And then like the trimming on wood, a whole 9 yards. But anyway, sorry, I could talk about furniture.
That's okay.
For way too long.
Okay.
But I was talking to her. And first she was real quick to be like, watch who like you interact with in the music scene. Like there's a lot of like traps and things like that. And so I just started telling her about the producer that I'm working with. And she was like, oh, I'm not even worried. She was like, he wanted you. He picked you. You didn't pick him. She was like, so already from the jump, you're starting off a little bit better. She was like, not that if you have to reach out to producers or you have to reach out to managers and things like that it's bad, because the worst they can tell you is no.
Right.
Like I'm a firm believer in that. But she was like that. She was like, I'm not even worried about it anymore. But we were talking about songwriting because a friend of mine, he was in Jaden Hamilton when we were where we met. Yeah. Yes. I hung out with him and his guy, the guy that runs Cowie brand, which come on with it. That's what Cowie stands for. It's awesome. And he was talking about Nashville and just like some of the writing sessions that he's been in that he's like, I'm not getting anything from like he's just talking about being true to yourself in your writing, you know.
Mhm.
And Miss Janet was saying, she was like, no, she said, because she was a publisher for Keith. She was like, see, some of these people would block off like 4 hours of writing with strangers
Mhm.
and then think it was going to be productive. Like you slowly start to like build your team, and like you're the Beatles, the Eagles, like
Mhm.
all of your like
Big
long
people. Mhm.
lasting, they weren't met, like they weren't like puzzle pieces that like don't fit together that you try to make fit together.
Right.
They just naturally happened, and that's why the music is
Right.
that good.
Right.
And so when my producer was like, you need to get with her, and I was like, boy, I just got off FaceTime with her. We were talking about what press on nails we wanted to get this week. And so it's been so cool. Like
That's so awesome. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Like when you're in the right place, and you know, and you're open to when God gives you a blessing, just walking through the door and not questioning, not, you know, oh my goodness. I mean, because of course, I mean, you want to be cautious,
right?
Of course,
yes,
but don't be in fear of the blessing.
Well, yeah, that was a big conversation we had, because I was we were talking about just some of the people that you meet in this industry. Some of them are lessons on how to do it, and some are how to not do it. And not that they're bad people, it's just everyone runs their business differently.
Exactly.
And so during the NFR, like the real big glass, it's called Live by Lowe's. It's the hotel right next to it. I do a brunch there sometimes. And sometimes the place is packed, and sometimes it's my boyfriend and the bartender. Like, and that's it. And during the NFR, I had like an earlier set, and I was Snapchatting him about a friend of mine about it. And I was like, I'll be honest, I was like, I am like absolutely scattered. A piece of my equipment had broke, and so I was all over the place, kind of whole 9 yards. And I was like, I'm kind of grateful that there's no one in here today, like that I can just kind of do my thing.
Right.
And he was like, no, because that means like that doesn't build you as an artist, and like there's no one that's going to be there to see you, to take you somewhere. And immediately Janet was like, I know people that would do a 4-hour set for a pack of cigarettes and a tab of like $10. Okay. And that's what I thought. I was like, I thought that was maybe kind of like a twisted mindset, because when I have sets like that, I get to try songs that I usually wouldn't do, because if I mess up, oh no, the bartender's gonna hear, and he's probably gonna pour me a drink, like,
right.
You know.
Yeah, pour me. Well, you know, and the thing too is you never know what connections the bartender has,
exactly,
or the person cleaning the table, or the, you know, maybe they have a connection and they're just doing that for right now. And you never know.
And that's my thing. I'm like, I don't. Granted, I walk into a show and I'm always going to put my best foot forward. A, because this is a job, and B, it's because it's genuinely a passion, and it's been beautiful for my job to be my passion.
Absolutely.
But I know that there's going to be days that there ain't going to be no one in there. Not every person that comes in that door is going to be my ticket to fame, quote, quote, ticket to fame.
Right.
Like, it's just, it is just truly not what you know, it's who you know. The whole reason I even got the NFR shows at that hotel was because that February, I had played at a little craft cocktail bar in Bridgeport, Texas, and the liquor distillery sales rep, I think is what she was. Her boyfriend's the cook at the hotel, and he was like, man, I need live music. And she was like, man, I saw this one girl up in Bridgeport the other day. It's that simple. Like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that was going to even be an NFR gig, because the months in advance or before it, I was just playing brunch.
Right.
Like, that's just kind of how it went. Yes. And so now everyone that I meet, like, they'll be like, oh yes, we book live music here. We book live music there. I mean, I'll take the shit gigs. Like, it doesn't bother. It truly doesn't bother me,
because it's the fun of it
exactly
for you.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty.
And then they usually only pay like $200. $200 more than I had before. Gas.
I can eat.
Yes, yeah. I can fill my tank and I can eat here. Rock and roll.
Right.
Like that.
And I get to do what I love to do, and I'm not punching a clock.
Yes.
And I'm not having to be somewhere else, listen to somebody else's corporate bullshit.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I don't know how to not make friends with people on stage, because usually these stages are like,
you don't know how to not make friends with people, period.
I don't meet a stranger.
That's okay. I mean, that's why we're friends.
Exactly. Yes.
And I can text you on a whatever Tuesday, Thursday morning indicator and say, hey, are you around?
Yes, I know. I did panic. I was like, oh God, did I Oh my God. I thought, because she was like, hey, like I'm in Decatur, like I'm up at Trinity. And I was like, which is a super cute coffee shop up there, which they've turned into like a whole restaurant. Phenomenal food.
Yes.
The
downtown Decatur is got it going on right now.
Yes. And I mean, it's been a minute since I've kind of hung out on the square. Like once I graduated high school, I mean, I burnt out. I was out of there.
That's what we do.
So I haven't eaten down there in a while, and I didn't expect the food to be that good, just because that's kind of what happens. Like some restaurants will circle through. Girl, I was impressed. To say the least. I was like, okay, this is, and they've got a bunch of really good beers on tap. My boyfriend is a brewery snob, not even snob. He'll try anything. I always, and I tried to go into it with that mindset, but I have a really good talent of picking whatever beer it is that tastes like nail polish remover. He's like, it's an IPA with this and that, and like these kinds of like flavor notes. I'm like, it tastes like nail polish remover. This is not good. So when we get a flight, he usually gets like one or two that he thinks that I'll like. Usually he's figured me out. And
okay. That's
it's great.
funny.
But
nail polish remover.
Dude, some of them I'm like, oh, God.
Oh my gosh, so funny. All right. So yes. So but what I loved about, and somehow or another we got off on the little Trinity thing while we were talking about you playing it there. The fact that they have a coffee bar. I'm not talking like a coffee bar where it's like you get 15 different kinds of coffee.
Oh no.
I'm talking like a bar.
Yeah.
A bar that just happens to sell coffee.
It's the coolest thing.
that you can drink at 8:00 in the morning. Mimosas, Kahlua in your coffee.
That's what I was going to say. Oh, you can throw Bailey's in your coffee. And it's nice.
Yeah. I'm like, what a great idea.
Wise County needed it.
Yeah. I think every county needs it. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Because so that bar there, they have their liquor license. And I believe there's a brand, which I actually played a show there last Friday. It's called Ritzy Bees.
Okay.
Which Brandy's, the breakfast cafe that's on the square, same owner.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think she's got another one in Bridgeport. But she just got her one of those letters. She got a liquor license also. But before then, there was no bars in Wise County, at least in Decatur. There might be some around, but I don't really go to the surrounding towns, because there was a place called Bono's, which Parker McCollum would play there, Coe Wetzel would play there. Like, it was a really good live music venue. Which it closed down when I was in high school, so I still don't even know why it did.
Oh wow.
But Wise Countyans were very upset. But which I don't know why they were that upset, because the county judge lived across the street from Bono's, and he would make phone calls when people would be pulling out of there acting a fool. So I'm like, it was probably for the betterment.
Yeah,
of
all the people. Yeah, all the people.
A lot of y'all.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so all of that to say, let's circle back around and talk about you a little bit more. We were talking about
not meeting a stranger.
Yes.
Thank you. That's what it was.
Like, hang on, something.
No, because a lot of the place that I play at, the stage is like 8 inches tall. And if I were to act one way because it never fails, there's always a lady with a pair of heels that are the same height as the stage. Okay? And if I were to act one way and then step down and act different, bro, I'm getting beat up in the parking lot. Yeah. Like that's what's happening.
With a high heel.
Yes, yeah. And then plus, like, if I didn't make friends with the guests there, they might as well put on a Spotify playlist. Like, that's the beauty of live music. That's what makes it a show. Like that. I always figure out, like, I played at Thirsty Armadillo in the Stockyards this last Saturday, which was such a fun show. Like, probably one of the more fun ones that I've had in a while. Because the night before, I had played at a place that for the guests there, they're just having me live music. Cool. We don't really care about it though. Like, I would get, like, granted, it made no sense. It was the most bizarre thing, because people tipped so well, which I'm not in it for the money. The money part of it is really cool. Yeah. Because it's cool.
Right. Of course.
But they tipped super well, but I would get like half someone clapping, like in the back, that, or I would see people like, oh, all right, cool. And they just kind of nod and like, cool, there's live music out there. And then that was it.
Oh my
so
goodness.
It's the most bizarre thing. And it's not that they necessarily don't like appreciate live music, but they're just like, all right, cool.
Right.
But then going to Thirsties, I mean, the table to the left of me, they're from Michigan, and the table in the back corner, they're from Oklahoma, and just making friends with all these people because I don't know how to I don't know how to not. And I straight up tell people too, I'm like, first, I don't know how to look straight forward when I play a song. I don't know how to do it. It feels unnatural. So I usually look out the side of my eye, or I turn, or things like that. And I was like, and I'm going to talk to you, and you don't have to talk to me back. Like, it's okay. It will not
going to hurt my feelings.
It will. Yeah, it really won't. If you do not give a damn about the girl on stage, I'm gonna still talk to you like you do. Like, I just, and it's, I don't know where I've ever heard the term. I don't think anyone's ever actually told me, but it builds good practice because I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to the 5 people in the bar the same way I would to a stadium.
Right.
Like, that's just how I don't know. I'm really big on perfect practice makes perfect, and doing like faith in works or faith acts and some I can't think of it. It's a little early for it, but
it's okay.
Some sort of scripture like that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you give whatever you give into the lives of others comes back into your life.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And so that's just kind of how it works there.
But that's who you are as a person in general.
Yeah.
And very humble. And that was one of the things too that I heard people really enjoyed when you were on before.
Oh,
is your humble spirit.
Good.
And I mean, and I really feel like even when you're doing that later on, you're going to really, something is not right. Apparently, we're about to take a break. So stick around and we're going to talk more about what Shelby's got going on. And I'm going to post some information on some spots you can find her.
All right. And everything that's no more numbers.
What are you doing? I'm just thinking about how much of a train wreck we are.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson, 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
JoCo Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Okay, so apparently we're back. Thanks so much for joining us here for the second half of It's a Good Morning on JoCo Community Radio. I think I've got a little bit of our stuff is a little messed up this morning, but it's okay. Okay, so yes, the second half of It's a Good Morning is brought to you by Next Level Claims. Don't forget, we are the voice of Johnson County, Texas, live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen, simply go to tuneinjoco.com, or you can download the app for free or listen live right there. We are also streaming simultaneously on Spreaker.com. with select shows like this one streaming to Facebook. All of our shows can be found on any one of your favorite podcasting platforms, such as Spotify and iTunes. Check out our lineup on jococommunityradio.com. Thanks for tuning in. This episode is more brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. For more information, go to facebook.com/Next Level Claims. So while I wait for, I think Shelby jumped out to get her some water because we thought we had a little bit more of a break, but we don't. So, but while we're getting situated here, I just want to let all of my Johnson County peeps know there is a new coffee shop that is going to be opening down in Rio Vista, whatever, however you want to say it, but down in or Rio Vista, Texas. It's called Heather's, and she's going to be opening tomorrow. She's doing a soft opening tomorrow, so she's only serving coffee, and then on Friday they'll be opened with their full menu with sandwiches and everything like that. She's got a drive-through. Tomorrow they're going to be open from 6 to 2. Somehow or another, I'm going to figure out how to go and do the show live from there. So that'll be different. I mean, we've done that before, but we've had the big setup and all the stuff, and I'm like not tagging all that stuff along with me. But I think it'll be fun. And for those of you who listen and are down more south of Burleson, be sure to go and check that out. It's super cute. I'll be posting on my Facebook and Instagram later on pictures. It's just they took like an old building there in Rio Vista and redid it with some cedar accents and like black and cedar, and so cute. So yeah, it's not a coffee bar, but it is coffee.
Trinity.
It is a coffee shop in Rio Vista, Texas.
The cool thing about Trinity Street, in Denton, it's a sister coffee bar to West Oak.
Okay.
So they straight up call it the street name.
They're like,
you want
a
coffee
lot of
with
my
your
friends,
milk?
yeah, a lot of my friends are like, do you want like coffee with your sugar?
Oh yeah. And I've heard that espresso and coffee is different. So like adding shots of espresso to all your creams and types of milk and all that kind of stuff it's apparently different, because I've got some coffee snob friends.
Wow. Didn't know.
Girl, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't know the difference between a latte and a cappuccino.
Oh, girl,
they're both hot. They're both hot.
Yes,
that's all I know.
That's
like you have your iced, your hot, and your frappuccino, which is more like the ice cream.
Yeah,
right.
It's like a milkshake.
Yeah, and so other than that, I got nothing.
And I have given coffee a genuine chance. Like Trinity, I went one day and I was like, listen, got a bunch of homework I need to get done. I don't like coffee. I'm tired of drinking hot chocolate here. What would you recommend? He was like, well, hotter. And I was like, dude, I don't care. It's not going to taste good.
Yeah.
But he made me a blueberry muffin iced coffee.
Okay.
It was pretty good, I will say. But I don't even like blueberry muffins. And so I was like, okay, if I liked blueberry muffins, this would probably be very, very good. So I'll try anything. I really will. I will try anything.
Oh my goodness.
Except for certain seafood. There's a line. I'm not a big seafood fan, but I'll try anything.
Not a big seafood fan?
I can do shrimp. Like I rock with shrimp. I rock with shrimp heavy. And crawfish. That is too much work for a little piece of meat. Like it is.
I agree with you.
And the only reason that I say that is because my dad did like a big like seafood
boil.
Like we had crab and lobster and crawfish and shrimp, and he found them like pre-shelled, or I don't know. It was all the meat. He found like just the bags of all the meat, and I'm like, it's that simple.
That's what I want.
It's that simple. I don't want to have to like Neanderthal it. And
how funny.
Yeah, but.
All right. So a little bit, one of the big things that you have going on coming up in November.
Yes.
That we're super excited about.
I'm so excited. So a few months ago, I actually I got the coolest little Facebook message, which I'm so bad at checking my Instagram, my messenger messages. They never show up. Like, I don't understand why I'm so bad about it. But it was from this really sweet lady. Her name's Linda King. She's actually the president of the Texas Country Music Association, which I was like, what? Like, oh my gosh. She was like, hey, like, you really need to like look at becoming a member of the Texas Country Music Association, all that kind of stuff. And so looked into it, definitely registered, became one. And then I'm telling you, man, it's not what you know, it's who you know in this industry. And so she was like, hey, you need to reach out to this gentleman here. He books for the Hotel Drover. And so I finally got to play there, which was super awesome. It was this whole cool thing. And then like
it's a beautiful hotel.
Oh my gosh.
Did you go out in the back?
Yes, that's where I played. And it is so cute.
Okay, the next time you play there, you have to call me.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
coming.
Yes, it
like, is so beautiful there.
It's my favorite. Like I told my mom, because she was like, I'm gonna have brunch with one of my friends. And I was like, go there. Like, you need to go there. But a few days later, the gentleman that booked it had texted me and goes, hey, you want to sing the national anthem for the music awards that are coming up?
Very cool.
Excuse me? Absolutely. 100%.
I love that.
My boyfriend and I, we get free admission to the Texas Country Music Awards.
Nice.
At the Bob's, Texas, November 14th. It's a Sunday.
I just posted a link, so if anybody wants to go, you can purchase your tickets. General admission is $25,
which is not bad at all for a music awards.
Yeah.
Tristan Merez is there. Aaron Watson is there. And it's really, really cool because my first ranch event. Let me take that back. It was technically my second promotions event as a ranch hand ever, was the music awards, and that's when I realized, like, holy crap, this is cool. Like, because where we were is a bunch of radio stations come in. You've got like kind of your completely online shows, and you had Hank FM, and you had the ranch, and there was another one. I can't remember which one it was, because granted, this was 2 years ago. But and the artists come through. Yeah, they talk to Aaron Wild. They're like being live streamed for the, because I think it's Cowboy Channel. Yeah, because I had to sign a photo release. Yeah, it's Cowboy Channel. They do a little interview there, and then they circle through all the radio stations, and they have like a short little interview here and there. So it's everyone comes. It is like
so cool.
It's crazy.
Yes. So you're going to be at that event on November. That's the 14th, right?
Yes,
you're going to be singing the national anthem.
Yes, and I'm so excited. That's what I used to
talk
joke
about right place, right time. There's going to be tons of people there.
Yes, and it's kind of cool because like some of these artists that are like pretty big and like a pretty big deal, like I can call friend right now, like, and that's right now. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this legitimizes me. Like this is like I really am like a musician. Like I'm not just like posting about it.
Yeah,
but I'm so excited. Just like it's the coolest thing. And then the week before that, which we're really trying to push, just because it is the coolest event I think I've ever had the chance of being a part of. It's called Harmonies for Heroes. It's in the Stockyards, November 7th. It's also a Sunday, but it is a day full of live music from musicians all over. And it 100% of any sort of proceeds that happen there, they go to so many. Like every day she posts like a different, and it's not even sponsor. It's like charities that it goes to.
Okay.
Because I do believe so. Trig 44 is hosting it, which is an entertainment company here in DFW. And if I read correctly, which you should be able to quote me, but I could be wrong. It is just on her Instagram. I believe her older brother had passed away overseas.
Okay.
Serving. And so this is a near and dear thing to her heart. My dad was in the Marines. Like every set I have, I do courtesy of the red, white, and blue, just to show respect to any sort of military, first responders, whole 9 yards. And Corey Kent's gonna be there. If you're a Corey Kent fan, like that's kind of like our headliner for the night.
Okay.
But it's, I mean, I think I go on at like 1:30. Like it starts at like 12:30 and it goes till like 10 or 11 that night. Okay. It is live music.
So it's a whole day event. Okay. And that is held, where is that again? That's in Decatur?
No, Thirsty Armadillo.
Thirsty Armadillo. Oh, okay, cool.
Yes. And there's like a bunch of really cool
I'm trying to find it so I can put it in our page.
They do have a Facebook page, and it's just Harmonies for Heroes. I'm so, dude, and like the raffles that they got going on, like Vinyl Ranch. I don't know many adults that would. It's kind of got like cowboy Playboy vibes sometimes, the things they post, where I'm like, oh, okay, we're pushing the boundary there. But usually it's just like really cool.
I've
like
never heard that term before.
Cowboy Playboy
Yeah.
vibes. That's personally my aesthetic, I will say.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
Okay. Nothing wrong with it. It's cute.
No, listen, don't get me on my soapbox about Playboy. It is not as awful as people think it is. There's a whole Amazon docuseries on it. Watch it. It is so good. I digress. Moving on.
Okay. It's okay. Perfect.
But like vinyl.
Little side note.
Yes, it is so good. And I think you only need Amazon Prime, and I know every single one of us has that. Anyways, but it's so like Billy Bob's is a big sponsor. Vinyl Ranch is a big sponsor. The Ranch is one also. Like it's all over. It's
very
cool. Really, really cool. Yeah, no, but and it's actually really, really fun because Amy, the owner of Trig 44, we had actually met at a Railhead event when I was working at the ranch, and she had invited me to come out and help work it and kind of, run wristbands and that kind of stuff. And so now that going from working it to being in it is so cool. It is just like if 2 years ago, if you would have asked me like, people want you on podcasts or you're FaceTiming someone that like the lead tour manager for Live Nation, which I get emails from Live Nation about big concerts going on near me. I was on FaceTime with them the other day. What?
Like pinch me?
Yes, yes, it really is.
Cool.
It's amazing. I wouldn't necessarily laugh because I'm a big picture kind of person, and I'm definitely big on speaking and believing. So like 2 years ago, like the things I was praying for, the things that I'm doing now. So I've been like, I wouldn't necessarily have laughed. I've been like, yeah, man, I hope so. Like that's the goal.
Right.
But it's so cool to see everything come to pass. Also super fun thing that's going on. It's my favorite small business. Not necessarily ever, because I've got so many friends that run small businesses, but some that I actually like enjoy their product, which that sounds really ugly. And I don't mean that ugly by any means, but I do have some friends where I'm like, okay, I love you. And I will absolutely pay full price for whatever this is. But what is this? Like, I don't know what this is.
I love you and I support you, but I'm not sure. Can I just give you money?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, can I just donate? Like, if you want me to donate, because I don't know that I'll actually use
like
this.
Goat soap.
I'm not a goat soap.
Yeah,
and I've got a lot of friends.
I probably should be with my allergies, but whatever.
Same. I'm probably
allergic to goats too. I'm sorry. I'm allergic to goats. Can I give you $20?
Goats have a vendetta against me. Okay, I grew up in rural America. Okay, and goats, not a fan. Goats and sheep. I don't know what kind of species that is. You got bovine, equine, whatever the hell a goat or a sheep is.
Those little short things.
Be gone. Absolutely not a fan. No. But it's Daisy If You Do Co. So I don't know if you know like Wild Rags or like the silk scarves. So she does custom ones, and then also just has like a bunch of like really fun prints that she's put together. She's actually just she opens her storefront in Stillwater, Oklahoma this Friday. So that's super exciting.
Nice.
But she's partnering up, which I can't remember. I think it's like a few different things, but it's Empowering Women 2022, because I think by the time everything's put together, it'll be next year. But they invited me to be in that modeling thing, photo shoot kind of stuff. We got some catalog stuff, and then just actual good headshots as well.
Yes.
But I really, really enjoy the way she does things, because it's like her mission statement, I think it's out of Colossians. It's talking about like, for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, or everything we set our hand to do will be blessed. Something to the effect of that. I can't remember. But when you had to send in photos, you had to send in one unfiltered without makeup. They were like, it doesn't have to be like a passport picture, but we want a picture with you without makeup. And I was like, oh God, that's beautiful. I love that, because don't get me wrong, it'll probably be a rough morning if I roll in without eyelashes or concealer.
But you're so beautiful anyway.
I have finally reached a point in my life that I know makeup is for fun and to like an enhancer, not what makes me pretty. Yes. Like that's not what makes someone. That's not the difference between pretty and ugly.
Right.
And
absolutely,
that took me a very long time to learn, because I mean, I grew up as a cheerleader. Like that. I mean, you're game day face, the eyelashes, the makeup, heavy blush, like whole 9 yards. And so and it was so sweet, because there was days where like a boy would like compliment me, and I'm like, oh, it's the eyelashes. And I finally had it. And I will say, we didn't end up working out. I wish him well, but this ex, I was like, oh, now wait a minute, my bad, hold on, because he had complimented me, and he was like, it's the eyelashes, or I was like, it's the eyelashes, and he was like, so the fake hair with dried glue on your eyelid is what makes you pretty? Try again. I was like, oh, he goes, you take off those eyelashes, and what are they? They look like spiders. They look weird by themselves. He was like, you are what make those pretty. I was like,
are you sure his name wasn't Garrett Johnson? Because that sounds exactly like something my 18-year-old would say.
I was like,
it's like,
whoa,
how awesome is that?
Yeah,
though?
it was. It
talk about a wake up call.
It was.
It's
it
awesome.
Really, really was. And so
lovely.
Like
I love it.
I joke about it now, but then like he's a really big mental health advocate, and he gets to speak at certain colleges and that kind of stuff. And like after we had like split ways, he had sent me one of the like seminars, there's the word, that he had done, and he talked about me. I was like, oh,
he called you out because your eyelashes.
Yes, he did. I was like, and then he tried to like put it like, he was like, for girls, he was talking about eyelashes. He was like, and then guys, like if you're like a sneakerhead and you're big into shoes, I'm like, shoot, no, ma'am, no, that is not what guys think what makes them attractive. No, no, it's the peach fuzz that they can't. Listen, if you're gonna put it into perspective for a man, put it in right, okay?
Right. Yes.
Because they did. They
had or the nowadays it's the hair.
Oh my God,
the mullet. Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, I do support a dirty mullet, okay, and I do support a dirty stash. But dear God, quit perming it, okay? We have evolved as humanity from from a perm. Yeah. But I was thinking about it. You had said that the listeners really enjoyed the humility of the last session, which I grew up at a very. I mean, I grew up Christian. I went to a private school. We're working on it. The older I get, the more I've learned that Christianity does not mean religion. Going to church doesn't make you a Christian. And that is a big thing I'm learning, that I can have a relationship with God outside of church. It's really fun and fresh.
Yes. Yes. And it is hard once and not that it's been beat into, but once it's very freeing to really, realize that we are called to have a relationship with the Lord.
And then because
we are not called in the Bible to show up at church.
Yes.
Every Sunday and every Sunday night and every Wednesday.
Yes, because I was I was a staff kid too. My family worked for the church, and so when I moved away, I went to school in Abilene for a little bit, and then I got into not a good situation up there with one of the churches, and so I had to remove myself up there. And then when I came back home and I had shows on Saturday nights or Sunday mornings, now I actually can't, and so I became responsible for my own. I am unlearning some really bad habits. And one of those is you can be proud of yourself and still be humble.
Yes.
That one is, and especially as a young lady, because I can't tell you how many times and I think that's growing up in cheer too, where it's like, girl, you look so good today. And they're like, oh, stop. No, you are allowed to feel pretty.
And you can say thank you.
Yes. Like you are allowed to be proud of something that you have done. You are allowed to feel pretty. And that is not being prideful, because at the end of the day, being too humble, quote, humble, is a sense of pride in itself. And so, or being prideful in itself. And so that really does warm my heart, because that really is, and that was something I was talking to you about when we first met, is I'm still trying to learn how to even market myself as a musician, because y'all all know, y'all been to karaoke, and there's that one girl that can actually sing, and everyone's like, oh no, here's the girl that can actually sing. And so that is unfortunately the mindset I've had with talking about me doing music this whole time. And then plus being in radio, I mean, the hosts became my best friends.
Right.
And we would all go out, and there would always be someone like latched onto them. And I'm like, that's not how your music gets on the radio. Like, so I'm seeing like both sides of the average
how you want to be, and what is going to work for you, what where what your road is, what your path is.
It's taken me a long time to find my footing on that one. And so I'm like, okay, good. Yeah. I don't sound conceited, and I don't sound like a fool or
and
cocky.
Sometimes the hardest part is in the marketing side of it is promoting yourself. That's one of the things. And girl, I'm 48 years old, and I still have a hard time with, okay, God has blessed me, giving me these things, all of the different things, all the things that He has put in my path, but because of, and people are like, oh, well, you're fearful.
No.
I'm not. I'm not
No.
scared. Like,
No.
I mean, I'm ready. Let's do this. But it's more of because of that religious background.
Yes. Yeah.
It's hard for us to break through the mold of, well, you're just bragging. You're just bragging about yourself.
And I'm like, I don't know.
And the Bible says, do not be boastful.
Yes. And it's such a fine line.
Yes.
And that's all do not be not boastful.
Yes.
And
yes.
And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not trying to be, but like, I'm doing cool things and I want to tell people about them. Like,
yes.
And I have learned there are people you tell and there are people you do not.
Yes.
And that because
for the rest of your life.
Because the right people will understand that you're not being boastful, that you are just excited, and the wrong people are going to consider it being boastful. But
but you still have to tell your story.
Yes.
And that's where you have to get to that point of it's your story.
Yes.
It's not necessarily, but it's your story.
And that's a huge and that's a lesson I'm learning just in life. Like aside from being in it, like the goal to be famous. Like I just want to make good music and I want to make my good music. But
and share your stories, and back to your friend saying empower women, empower young girls, empower women. So this is beautiful.
Yes.
And I'm proud of you. So are you supposed to take a picture and send it to them with no makeup, or when you get there?
So that was your entry to apply to be in the model call.
Okay.
And because that's what she sent it to me and she was like, hey, do this. And so I was like, okay, like that's fine. And then I actually got to like reading about it. And then even in the application, you have to talk about like what is empowering women, and then who's like a powerful woman that inspires you all the time. And I don't know if it's just the cheerleader in me that will never die, but I'm such a big believer in like female lawyers, female doctors, female politicians, I guess. I don't know. I don't go anywhere near all that. But just or empowering, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, you go, queen. I don't care for children, but you got it. Like, if that's
because that is a job.
That is a job.
I had a friend of mine who's a stay-at-home mom, and literally she would show up at church and she would have the little meal prep plan, all the little snacks and all the things, and I would just go, like, okay, that's not me.
Yeah. It's stay-at-home moms, unmatched. Unmatched. And so like anything that a young woman wants, young, old, anything, because it's never too late to start anything that you want.
You go, girl, preach.
Yes.
Just go.
There is like, I mean, because that's a thing. If you want to start college when you're 28 and you're like, oh, I'm 28 and that's 4 years. Okay, well, 4 years are still going to go by.
Yeah.
And you could either be 4 years later with a degree that you may or may not use, but now
you're
you've
going
got
to be 32.
Degree. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or you're still going to be
same place.
Yeah. With or
wishing
without.
that you had
gone
to school.
Exactly.
4 years later, you're 42 now, and you're going to be, 46 when you're done.
Exactly. And so I genuinely am super, super excited about it. And then like last fall, I was a cheer coach at the high school I was at, and I made a point to pull a lot of the girls aside and go, okay, the feelings you're having, they are valid. You're not like, if someone's going to come to me, you're being a dramatic 15-year-old. Okay. I thought the world was ending when I was 15, and dear Lord, nothing was more frustrating than someone telling me you're being dramatic.
Yes.
Okay. Are they? Absolutely. Was I? Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. There's a black sheep of the family and there's a flower child, and I am the flower child, and I feel everything 100%. And so,
oh my gosh, I think you're my younger self. I am hearing you like process through all of the things you're dealing with right now, and I was like, oh, I did that when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
Got it 100%.
Yeah. And so like, because I know when I was that age,
feelings on my shoulder.
Yes. And I could
you
cry.
Look at me wrong, and I'm like,
yes. And
you
so
don't like me.
And hell, it might not have meant anything to those girls. But I know that I know for a fact that they all know they can call me at any time of the day and go, dude, I've messed up. Cool. Then we gonna help. And so, and not by no means am I the person that's like, okay, what you did wasn't wrong. No, I'm gonna call you out and be like, okay, so we know that wasn't right, but we're not gonna do that again.
Right.
Because I've had the finger of shame, and I've had the better. Okay, yeah.
I told you so.
Yeah, dude. Like I might have known better, but I still did it, and now I'm facing consequences, and I need help.
Right.
Like that was
no judgment.
Yes, that was and it's been really cool because I've met some really cool friends at UTA, and some of them when we'll be talking or things, they'll be like, can I say this? And I'm like, this is a safe zone. You can talk to me about anything. I'm not going to tell you what you're doing is right, what you're doing is wrong.
Right.
But if you just need to vent and to speak, just because we're young ladies does not mean that we're dramatic or, oh my gosh, everything's the end of the world. Come on. It might be.
Right.
You know?
I think you just need to stick around. We need to do this more often. I love having you here.
Oh, dude, these are so much fun.
I'm so glad.
So much fun.
I'm so glad. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing all of the things that Shelby's got going on and all of the things. I put her merch link in the comments. Thank you so much for joining us here on Wednesday. I'll figure out tomorrow, but don't forget to sprinkle a little sunshine and bullshit. Bye.
Billy was a preacher's son with a kindred soul. A straight shooter all his life, he took an oath not long ago. He held his future in the palm of his hand until he met that rebel child with the long red curly hair. Now Becky was a small town girl from a broken home. She never knew her dad, hell, her mom was never home. She had a reputation for being around. All she knew was
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Although they say they are closing in on a deal, congressional Democrats have yet to agree on a compromise social spending plan. Last word, the proposal carried a $1.75 trillion price tag. Several Democrat leaders met yesterday with President Biden at the White House, part of the ongoing negotiations. And Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell says the Democrats only fooling themselves.
They're acting like this was the New Deal. Roosevelt had massive majorities. Or it's the Great Society. LBJ had massive majorities.
McConnell saying there are no such majorities this time around, adding the American people are not asking for any of this. They're headed down the home stretch. The Virginia gubernatorial candidates, Republican Glenn Youngkin, Democrat Terry McAuliffe, in a dead heat, according to the polls. McAuliffe, who previously said that an unpopular President Biden was a drag on his campaign, held a rally with Mr. Biden yesterday in the Democrat stronghold of Northern Virginia. Republican Youngkin suggesting that may actually help him. Parts of the Northeast are reeling from that nor'easter that brought fierce winds and flooding rains to the region. Things expected to calm down today. The National Weather Service's David Roth says New York and New Jersey were swamped, while Massachusetts got a bit of a break.
The rain across southeast Massachusetts, we had originally been anticipating more rain than has fallen, but it looks like they picked up about an inch or two.
More than 250,000 utility customers left without power in the aftermath of the storm. We may learn today whether criminal charges will be filed in connection with the fatal movie set shooting in New Mexico. The local sheriff and DA will hold a news conference. Actor Alec Baldwin fired a prop gun. The movie's cinematographer was killed. The director was wounded. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures are up 39 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 21. S&P futures 4 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Out of date carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson in Cleburne, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family-owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Texas pride, Texas grown, from the dirt to our home, no matter the weather, do it together.